In my last video, I discussed the aspects of the Leica Q3 that I don't like. If you haven't seen it yet, I mentioned a few issues I've encountered after using it for nearly a year. Be sure to watch that video after this one to learn more about those problems. If there's only things that I don't like, then I would have gotten rid of the camera, right? So there must be things that I like about this camera, and in today's video I'm going to explain to you what I like about this camera. And by the way, I'm here in Hong Kong. Alright, let's do this. For a bit of context, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been shooting Leica Q cameras since the first model was released in 2015. Unlike typical reviews, I prefer to use a camera for several months or even a whole year before sharing my honest opinion. As a photographer, rather than a traditional reviewer, I believe this approach helps me to understand what works and what doesn't with a piece of gear. Maybe you'll be able to see it behind me. The cool neon lights. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not that many around. There used to be a lot here in the city, but they're getting less and less, which is very unfortunate. However, what is not unfortunate on this camera are the improvements here. And one of the improvements that was also one of the downsides that I mentioned in the video is the new screen, the tiltable screen. Even though it's a pain in the butt to tilt it. It's not that easy as on other cameras. But on the other hand, it's extremely sturdy, and after getting used to it, I'm using it quite a bit, and yeah, it makes things a lot easier. So I don't want to miss out on it anymore, so I'm glad that it's now in here in the Leica Q3. One thing that's also good is the viewfinder. The viewfinder is also upgraded and it's really nice. The EVF on the Q2 was already pretty good, but I still appreciate that it got improved on the Q3. So let's continue. In this video, I won't be discussing the general features of the Q series that I love, such as the form factor, the excellent lens, and the lens-integrated shutter that's great for flash photography, as these features are consistent across all Leica Q cameras. Today, the focus is exclusively on the Q3 and the new or improved features it offers compared to its predecessors. Let's address another thing that I really like about this camera, and it's also one thing that I mentioned in the other video that I don't like, and that's the video mode on here. Because the video mode is not perfect. There needs to be maybe a few software updates until it gets hopefully fixed, but it is still good to have it on board here. For instance, I managed to break the screen on my Lumix S5, and while waiting for repairs, I used the Q3 as my primary video camera. It performed better than expected. The video quality was good and the autofocus did a decent job. Overall, I was quite pleased with the results. While I wouldn't use it as my main video camera, it's more than capable as a backup. Alright, on my way to the next spot. Feeling stuck with your video editing? Introducing Filmora, the ultimate video editing app for beginners and pros alike. With Filmora, you can unleash your creativity effortlessly, transform your footage into stunning masterpieces with just a few clicks. Edit like a pro anywhere at any time. Share your stories, capture your memories, and make every moment unforgettable with Filmora. Filmora is available for Windows, macOS, iOS, and Android. Download Filmora for free and start editing your way to greatness.
You'll find the link below in the video description.
Now, the next thing that I really like about Q3, and that is the autofocus. The autofocus is vastly improved over the predecessor. The Q2's autofocus was alright, but now since this has face detection, it got a lot better. A lot of people ask me, oh, is it faster? Well, it's not a speed demon, and maybe it got slightly faster, but the limiting factor in here is the lens. So the motor and the lens is not changed, so that's why the camera or the autofocus is not really faster. If you compare it, or I had the chance to use the SL3, which basically has the same sort of autofocus, and with the autofocus lens on it, the focus was much faster compared to here, but this is still fast enough, I would say. But the improvement here is not the speed, it's rather the accuracy. So if you use tracking on here, finally it's usable. All right, let's find the next cool neon lights over there, and then I will tell you what else I like about this camera. Right now, and by the way, on here I've pretty much always a black promise filter, because I think I just like the look, especially when you shoot here at night with all the highlights blooming in the background. Looks pretty cool. So another thing that I really like about this camera, it's the battery life. It has a stronger battery.
The older BP SCL4 battery has a capacity of 1860 milliamps, while the Q3's BP SCL6 battery boasts 2200 milliamps. Though these are just numbers, I can clearly notice the difference, as the higher capacity battery lasts significantly longer. And a fully charged battery lasts me all day long. During my Bangkok workshop, one of the students only had one battery for his Q3. We tried to find a second one for him without success, but the single battery ended up being sufficient. However, I would still recommend having a spare battery on hand, just in case. For all the images you can see in this video, I've used my brand new Lightroom presets that I've been testing out over the last few months, and they make it very easy to edit. For one RAW file, it typically takes me less than 20 seconds. Check them out, the link will be in the video description.
But there's more things to like about the camera, not just the battery life, autofocus and the other things, so let's talk about that. Yeah, this is also a popular spot for photo shoots, as you can see. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh no. It's rather unfortunate, but for whatever reason today, these two cool neon lights are turned off, and also the one in the background. What a bummer. But luckily I already have footage, so I can show it to you, so you get an idea what this looks like. And it's actually really cool. So that gives me the opportunity to finally talk about the main thing, the main feature about this camera that I absolutely love. And that is, probably to no surprise, is the sensor and the image quality that this sensor delivers.
I was initially concerned about the 60 megapixel sensor, but after using the camera for the last 12 months, I found that the high megapixel count doesn't negatively impact the image quality. You can also shoot RAW in 36 megapixel and 18 megapixels, which Leica claims enhances dynamic range and low light performance. But to be honest, I haven't noticed a significant difference, so I stick to the full resolution. If you're upgrading from the Q2 or the original Q from 2015, you'll notice a significant improvement in image quality, which alone makes the upgrade worthwhile, at least in my opinion. Only the Q2 monochrome performs better in low light, but that's expected. Overall, I'm really impressed with the Q3 sensor and the resulting image quality.
Let me know if you have experience with the Q3, if you have anything you want to add, any feature or anything you like about this camera, so put it in the description box down below this video. And yeah, we will see each other hopefully very soon in the next one, then from some other place. Right, until then, auf Wiedersehen.